Good. How are you?
Good. Always good to see you.
Good to see you. I love your bangs.
Growing. We're working on it. They're still, a work in progress. I'm figuring it out in front of you all. It's great. It's really
fun. I like to see the progress.
Really, really fun. All right. I want to dive in. I want to know so many things about you and your business and what's going on. But first, I want to know you're safe. You're at home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. All of us are home.
Yeah. Good. So tell me, who are you? What's your business? What do you do? What are you about? What's your home life? All of that sort of stuff. Just give us a little quick rundown on who you are.
Yep. My name is Basia from Fineline, Pyro. I am torn between doing mandalas in any art media and wood burning, but for the past year I have honed in on wood burning and really made that my only craft. It's really hard because I like to do a lot of other things, but it's been amazing, and being part of the Burn Club definitely helped because I'm getting these challenges and massive support. So that's definitely helped me stick to it and go through it.
I'm glad to hear that. That's good. Well, because you're good at it. So I'm glad you're sticking to it. I mean, I want you to still explore and try other things and really take it wherever you want to go with it. But I love that that wood burning is really, that's where you're at. It's good. Where are you located? You're up in Canada, right?
Yes. Mississauga, which is neighbors to Toronto.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, is it still freezing?
It's not beautiful yet. My tulips have they haven't budded yet, but they are out, so it's just starting to get nice.
All right. Yeah. So you're getting some green back. That's good.
A little bit.
Yeah. Just a little bit here and there. That's good. Okay, so you're at home, you're in quarantine. Do you have any tips? Because I know you have a family, you have a daughter, and so do you have any tips for anybody that's watching with how to get through quarantine and I don't know, anything that's working for you and your family that you want to share?
I think for me, mandalas are a form of meditation and a zone out. So to just have my own space, even for a few minutes, and to just draw is huge. I know some people just like to go for car rides or even just sit in the car without it driving. It's a little escape. So find your escape. Find your thing that makes you disconnect mentally.
Yeah. I think that's really important to have that moment for yourself. That's good. All right, so I would love to start by showing off some of your pieces. I have a couple that I have up here. Well, one, I'm wearing one.
Yeah.
This was a collaboration that you did with Chelsea of CG Designs, and I love them. I wear them all the time. And then, hold on, my other one's right here. And now you guys are getting probably the full outfit view, which is business on top-ish and sleeping on the bottom.
I love it.
Look.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys, can you see these details? You posted this for a burnt challenge, and I was messaged you immediately and was I need that in my life.
I didn't even know the picture loaded, and you're yeah, that's mine.
It's fine. It's mine. How much do you want for it? Where do I pay you? I love this piece so much. It's one of my favorite art pieces that I have in my house, actually.
Oh, thank you.
It's so good. It lives in my bedroom.
Yay.
I'm well, not right now, but normally. Any other pieces that you have that you want to show off just right now while we're...
I got two.
Getting started.
I got two just to show kind of my progression of so I do a lot of other things other than mandalas, and that's only because of you, Rachel. Otherwise I'd be only doing mandalas. All the burn challenges have pushed me to do other things, which is great because I do need to do other things. But mandalas are kind of my life, so I a little progression.
Let's see it. I'm excited.
Yes.
So this
this is one that I did maybe like 9 or 10 years ago.
No way!
That's kind of when I designed it. So I
was gonna say, I'm like, you burned it 10 years ago?
I often draw it first, and then I go ahead and
turn it
some more or less burn it. I still draw it on here, so it's always going to be different than my sketches, but my sketches give me a general idea what is going to come out, because I often don't know what it's going to look like until I actually finish it. So this is a design that I've done 10 years ago. I burnt it still probably about 5 or 6 years ago. So
I had no idea that you were burning for this long. I'm like, when did you first pick it up? I don't think I even know that. When did you...
Yeah, so it was almost 11 years ago now.
Amazing.
The story behind that, I know it's a question for later, but...
it's okay. We can skip around, that's fine.
Yeah. The story behind the way I started was a little bit by chance. I had a bunch of friends in Calgary. So I lived out west for a while, 6 years. Okay. Just because I graduated with an ECE degree, and there was nothing here for me. Like it was either there was no options. There was no jobs that I could find in my field. So I applied across Canada. I got into Calgary, and I was a director of a daycare out there. In that adventure, I met a bunch of people who were big into art and music festivals, and they wanted to create a platform for DJs and artists to perform at different music festivals. So what they did was they took a bus and they gut it. My husband helped at that time. They completely did the inside with wood. Like I'm talking the roof, the walls, everything. There was logs on the sides, so there's like full benches, and it was
cool.
It was stunning. So their dream of having a moving platform was it's actually very successful. I think they have like 3 buses right now.
So cool.
Very cool. But they wanted art on the bus, and of course you can't have it loose and falling off, and you know, it had to be permanent. So they discovered pyrography. And I don't know how, I just was drawing there. I did do a lot of crafts. I did arts and crafts in general, but they trusted me, and they said, can you burn on our bus?
On the bus?
I was like, yeah, I can do it.
That's
right?
awesome. You know? Oh my gosh, you must have pictures of this, yes? Do you have pictures?
I do.
Oh, we're going to have to see this. It'll go up in the blog post for sure. We're going to have to see pictures of this, because that's so cool.
They actually...
So how much burning was it? I mean, how much did you have burning in it?
There was 4 of us, 4 girls. 2 had the back wall, and my friend Magda and I had kind of the side and the kind on the railing and around the window.
Oh my gosh. I am so excited to see this. That is so cool.
I don't even, it was amazing. I didn't expect it. I didn't have any clue what it was. I just practiced on a tiny bit, and I was like, I'm just going to do this. My husband was the one who built the walls and installed them. So if anything goes wrong, I'll just make it.
He can just put in a new one.
Yeah. So I was
over to the backside. It'll be fine.
And it was really cool. Like it was
awesome. So then after that, were you picking it up all the time? Have you just never set it down, or was it like a long break? What happened?
A little bit of both. So at that time, because they were a budding business, they offered me the tool instead of a payment, right? Because they're just started out. They have no income. So I said, I didn't care. I just wanted to do art on a bus. But I took the wood burner, and I'm still using it today.
Wow, that's your razor tip? Amazing. What a great story. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. That's so fantastic. Okay. Back to showing off your pieces, though. So you designed that piece like 11 years ago. You burned it a while ago. Now let's see the next one that you have.
So it has evolved into my very, very newest piece.
Stop it.
It's I was inspired by folk art. I'm Polish, and I see a lot of this.
Bring it in.
It's not finished yet. I still have quite a ways to go.
You guys, are you guys seeing this?
I'm torn with it because I feel like sometimes it's too busy, so I'm trying to fill it in. And
it's amazing.
you know, with everybody's art, you always wonder and hate it and then love it and hate it and love it. So
that is incredible. I just want to stare at it. It's so beautiful. How many hours went into this piece?
So very often when I'm working, if I'm making a sign or if I'm making something that I'm going to sell, I'm timing myself. But this was something that I didn't because it let me be free and not really like focus on.
And you were trying something new. I mean, it was something that you were like excited to just dive into it and pour into, which you can tell you did. You poured really into it. I mean, I cannot even imagine the number of hours that you put in there.
Quite a long time.
Yeah.
Quite a long time.
It's incredible, though. It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay, I'm so glad you showed us that piece. That is really, really cool. I'm like, now I can't wait to see a photo so that I can like zoom in and like really stare at it for a while, you know?
Yeah.
Like, take my time with it. Really soak in all
soak it in. And there's a lot of detail.
It's so good. Are you going to be participating in the Burn Club Craft Fair?
Yes, absolutely. I have no reason not to.
That's fantastic. So this Friday, May 1st through the 3rd, you'll be able to snag one of Basia's pieces, which is really cool. I'm like, will that piece be available?
I was about to say, if I can finish it in time, it might only come up on Sunday, but...
Wow.
If
Guys,
I can
keep your
finish
fingers crossed, right? We're all going to have to be like fighting each other for it. Okay. So, how did you find this style? Like your fine line, fine detailed style? Like where did that come about? How did you find it?
Practice. Definitely doing things over and over and over again. Also, I guess tools, because I started out, I have many sketchbooks, but I did start out with just your basic old sketchbook and the, I didn't bring them, but they're like the micron pens. And you get the whole package. And because I love detail so much, I would just gravitate to the really thin, tiny pens, as small as they can go. And I just went from there, and I just kept drawing and drawing and drawing. And mandalas are amazing because you can never get one that looks like another. And they all have their own personalities and their own looks. So it was really easy to keep doing those over and over and getting something new every time. So.
And then do you only use, because I know that you have a certain tip, she calls it her sexy tip, in case nobody knows this yet. Is that the tip that you use for everything, or do you use different tips?
This is the tip that I use. So it's really thin, which is probably why I use it. I use it for 99% of my work. Before I got the set of the ball tips, which are really cool because I got, I think 10 of them in here, which are of different sizes, that revolutionized my dots. But I actually used to make dots with this. I don't know how I had patience.
Did you see my face? Wait, what? I'm sorry, what?
I don't know how, and I would never go back to it, and I would never recommend it to anyone, but I didn't have a choice. I just always gravitated to this, and when I started out, I was using the interchangeable tips. So for me to change a tip was just...
It's a pain.
Yeah. I know wood burning is like patience galore, but I did not have
Not
time.
when it comes to changing nibs.
So
it's so sad, but it's true. It's really funny. I mean, I think that's why we all have our favorites. Is one, your hand gets used to it, and so once your hand's used to it, you can kind of do whatever you need it to do, you know. And so you just make do with what you have. But I've seen artists filling in like large areas with like tiny nibs because they just don't change the nib. It's so funny. We're the most patient people and the most non-patient people
at the same time.
I think the word's impatient. You know what I mean? That is great. Okay, so I think that like between the nib and your mandalas and all of that, it all kind of combined together to create Fineline Pyro, like to create your style and your brand and all of that. I mean, really, it all just has a certain feel to it, and it all is like very, just fine art is what it feels like, which is fantastic. So bravo on all like
Thank
across
you.
the board. You guys should see her website and her Instagram feed, and everything she does has like a certain cleanliness to it that is just so beautiful. So
I
go check
really
her out.
appreciate that. And like another piece of advice on that note is basically like, I didn't try for that. You don't really try to have a style. It's something that just is supposed to happen. And for a long time, I was just like, what's my style? What am I doing? Who am I? Like, I just kept doing it because I love doing it, but I never really knew. And since I was able to just focus on wood burning and just leave everything aside, and the wood burning in one medium, I just evolved. So it just kind of naturally.
When you see her website and you see all of the pieces together, you can just, it's so cohesive. It all works so well together, and it's just, it's your brand and it's who you are, and it's really cool to see. So you've always done art then, yes, I assume? Or do you have any sort of formal training? This is actually something that CG Designs asked, was any formal training in design specifically?
Zero.
Wow.
It's all, I mean, in high school, I took art class, all the art classes that I could. Not very big drama. I'm super shy. I blush a lot. So if I were to speak in front of anyone, I'd be just beat red. So I stayed away from drama.
Stay away from the drama stuff. You're like, I don't need to be on the stage. Keep me behind scenes.
Exactly. But anything else I could get my hands on in high school, which is very limited. And then I went to school for early childhood education. So I made a lot of stuff. It was crafty kind of things, but everything else was self-taught, just doing it over and over.
I mean, I imagine the kids, though, and being around kids just help keep you inspired and creative and all of that,
Because they don't judge whether something's off a little. They just want to go and do more.
They just want to create and put the paint on paper. They don't sit there and, I'm afraid to even start. They just dive right in.
Actually, that's a big difference between, I teach adult lessons and kids lessons. So like kids, 13-year-olds, and it's just, so the class just flows so much different because kids, they can't wait to put that pen on the wood. And for the adults, I have cut some of theirs in half so that they can try it on the halfer and then do the good one on the other half. Gosh, because they're so scared to do it, and I'm just like, we got lots of wood. You could just,
so funny. It's so funny. I watched a really interesting show. It's called Brainchild. It's actually, I think, for kids, but it was on creativity, and they were talking about the difference between adults and children and how they're creative and ways to become more creative. And one thing that they even talked about, which I thought was so interesting, and it's about connecting your right and left sides of the brain more. And so if you're feeling in a rut, they actually say that you should move your eyes from right to left really fast a bunch of times, and that can help you become more creative. I know. I was like, that's super cool. Interesting. So if you catch me, like,
I love it.
You'll know what's going on. But I just thought it was so interesting. So, I mean, mandalas are like, it's your way of zenning and it's your way of relaxing. And I assume mandalas mixed with pyrography is just like zen on top of zen. Yeah.
Big time. Yeah. The people, going back to the classes, no one person has ever started off slow, even though it's the last thing I say before they touch the wood. I always say, like, let the pen do the work and go slower than you think. Go. And then they're just like, you don't, because you don't expect it. So definitely the slowness and having to be patient with the wood, plus the mandalas take time and stuff.
Well, and the repeating patterns, like doing the same thing over and over again, has got to be like really, really chill and really nice to know.
I lose all track of time.
So any goals for Fineline Pyre that you want to talk about, throw out there that we can all support you in?
Big goal for Fineline is I want to create big, massive pieces. I want to make. I want to. Yeah, I like
another bus, but the full bus.
Can you imagine? Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I feel like all these they're pretty big, but they're still like I want a wall, right? Like I've done a few drawings where they've been turned into stickers, vinyl stickers, and that's cool. But I want some kind of wood element in there. I love the whole sustainability of the wood and.
What's the largest piece that you've done? This is actually a question from CG Designs. So, what is the largest piece you did?
It's so not completed yet, because with my go-getter attitude, I actually started off with this piece about 9 years ago. It's 30 by 30, and it's pretty big. And I did it 9 years ago, and I just recently came back to it, maybe like couple months ago, and I pretty much had to go over all my lines from back then, because it's just you don't realize how
well I mean
far you've come.
Right, I know that's always, it's always interesting to hear. Okay, so any other goals though for Fineline Pyro that you wanted to share?
Yes, it's a little bit of subsection to Fineline. It's doesn't have a name yet. It's very fresh, and it's something I'm trying. I don't want to give it away too much.
Okay, I'm like you can tease us. That's fine. You're allowed to tease us.
It's a basically going to be support and guidance for creating your own mandalas.
Which is awesome because I have no idea how to make them. So
and they're easier than you think.
Really, really awesome.
Yeah, and
I love it.
I was going to, like, this kind of came out recently, maybe like a month and a half. So my idea was potentially paper print, but it's kind of now moving on to the digital side.
And why not do both?
And then why not do both? But then I have to focus on one, and
No, it's great though. Well, any way that I can help you, just let me know, okay? Because that's awesome. I think it's such a cool idea. Such a cool idea. So how much time? Whoa, one other question. Any techniques that you are wanting to try or do? I mean, I know you want to do larger pieces, but is there anything that you are like, I haven't tried X yet, and I really want to?
Gold leaf.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I know it's messy.
That would be really cool with what you do in your style too.
I've been really anxious to try it. Just even I've done it a little bit on paper. I think it was last time I did it, but it's just I guess I'm not patient enough. And I just kind of rushed through it, and it didn't work out, so I just tossed it. And recently I was doing a live with Ali, and she does stunning gold leaf, and she's just like, don't do it, it's so messy. But looking at her work is just, I love that.
You're like, but I want to do it.
But I need to.
Drawing you in, you're like, I have to try it.
I need to do it. It's not even a want. It's like this itch, this. And I honestly, I want to see your work with some gold leafing in it, because I think that it has some serious potential. Yeah, so such a difference between
I know
wood.
It's for your birthday.
I was in February. I gotta wait a while.
Well, you might have to wait a little while. So how much time, generally speaking, do you spend on wood burning versus like the rest of your business? Like, what percentage does wood burning get of the full picture?
It's up and down. Because of the craft fair, for example, I've been making a page to sell everything, not just kind of the stuff that I like, just putting it all out there. Just that's all my work.
That's great.
So it's
been a lot of computer work, then, I imagine.
Exactly. Yeah. And otherwise, I feel like it's probably like close to 85% wood burning and very little. I mean, if you count Instagram as business, I guess it is, but it's also kind of, because I love it, it's just natural almost.
Yeah.
So
No,
Yeah,
that's great. That's a great percentage. I hope you can keep that throughout your business, because that's a good percentage to have. Okay, so you before this, you were doing some teaching in person, right? You had like some setup with I want to say it was like a wood company or a tool company, something like that. Tell us about it.
They're called Lee Valley Tools, and basically they're any kind of woodworking and gardening. That's kind of both hand in hand. Anything obscure that you can find. So really the most unique, like stuff that you can't find. I don't know, you guys don't have Home Depot, but do you have Home Depot?
Yeah, we have Home Depot.
Okay, so it's kind of like Home Depot, but just like really, really specific tools and hinges and anything to do with wood and gardening.
Cool.
Really, really cool. And I went in there and they got sick of me because I kept asking more questions about wood burning and more and more and more. And how do you do this? And how do you do that? I'm just always trying to figure out how other people do it.
Yeah.
And this guy is just like, and then I wanted to show a specific technique. And it was on one of my pieces. I'm like, I want to do this, but sharper. How do I do that? And he just is like, whoa, did you do that? Do you want to teach here? And I'm just like, yeah. Very organic, very natural. I mean, I talked his ear off for
I love that
45
so much.
minutes.
I love that
and
so
then
much.
Since then, I just like probably every other week, I was doing it every other week, and kids classes,
that's great.
demos, so just sitting on the floor and just burning away.
And did you have to do a lot of promotion or anything like that, or did they do it for you?
They do everything.
That's amazing. That's like the perfect setup. Well, I hope you can get back to that soon. I hope we can all get back to that soon, because that would be really nice. Everybody's talking about how great Lee Valley is. That's great. Okay, it is time for the deserted island question. I have a feeling I know what burner and nib you'll use, but I'm really interested to hear about what wood type you're going to use, because I know that you use a bunch of different types of wood and different ones than I generally use. And then what non-essential but essential to you tool. And I have a feeling I know which one you're going to choose for that too, but I'm excited to hear.
Okay. I have my machine here. So the machine, of course, is the razor tip.
And you have the dual. You got.
I do. That's because they gave it to me.
That's awesome.
The bus people are called Bass Bus. Super cool.
Bass Bus? BASS?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Very cool group of people. I started off with this, which was very lucky.
Yeah.
But I switch it because I have the ballpoint. But before it was not necessary. But so of course my tip of choice is
the sexy tip.
The sexy tip. Absolutely. Without
at one point, razor tip is just going to have to change the title of that tip. The sexy tip. We just all have to use it enough, and then it'll happen. It'll get renamed. We just need to, I'll fight for the cause.
Can you imagine?
Okay, sexy tip, razor tip burner. What wood are you bringing?
The wood, so generally I burn on cherry, because that's kind of what I can get my hands on.
Is that what this is? Is this one cherry?
Yes.
Look at that grain, you guys. So good.
I love it.
I love it too.
But if I were to be on the island, I would probably go with cedar. I love how soft it is and how it's not always smooth. It's if you have
it's got some grain in there. Yeah,
but it just smells good, and it's so soft and buttery. I would love cedar.
Okay, cedar. And then what is your non-essential but essential to you tool?
Well, lots of people had razors, which is cool. But for me, and this is a secret tip, I guess not secret, but a tip, a very unknown tip, but very super crucial to everything I do. Sandpaper.
What is that?
Sandpaper.
Oh, yeah.
So after all my pieces, and I discovered that not everyone does this, because when I was burning with Ali, I asked her, I'm like, hey, do you sand your pieces after you're done? And she's like, you mean after you burn it, like when you're done. So she doesn't. But for me, I feel like it makes my lines
cleaner.
100 times cleaner, like just so much more crisp, and it takes away those burn marks, and then I can see if I need to fix up anything. And
it works with your style specifically because you are line drawn based, tiny details. If it's more shading and there's those really light details, then sometimes when you go to sand it, you're going to lose some of those details. So I get why, like, Allie maybe necessarily she doesn't do that, whereas when you do it, it makes the lines look really, really clean and crisp. See, CG thought you were going to say compass. Me too. That's what I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say compass for sure.
It was my runner-up until I had that conversation with Allie, and she's just like, there's no way. But I get because of the shading, but even before you shade, you have your outlines and whatever you need. Give it a tiny sand.
That's true. It's really true. Yeah.
And then I like to get off the dust. I have a sandpaper with sponge on the back, and that just like, it's like miracle. You just like wipe it. Even if you try wiping it with a cloth or anything else, it doesn't work as well as like a sponge.
The sponge that's on the back of the sandpaper.
So pretty essential.
Okay, what grit is that? What grit are you using?
This is 150.
Wow. Okay.
And it's probably even smoother because I just always use this. Like you don't need anything powerful. It's very it's super gentle. I don't press very hard. Always go with the grain.
Yeah.
Don't go against it. My husband would kill me. he's a woodworker. Yeah. So that's huge for me.
All right. Okay, but I can't believe you'd leave the compass at home. I'm so shocked by that.
So the reason being is many of my mandalas are done 100%. All of my mandalas are done by hand. I don't measure anything. I just here. So it's very like if you were to fold it, it wouldn't match up.
Gotcha.
Like, some people's are too perfection.
Perfect.
Mine is just kind of I really do a lot of guesstimating. The compass helps me get a general, the circle is the hardest, right? A line you can kind of see, but a circle is really hard. So it does speed up my process. But if I didn't have a compass, I could just use 3 fingers, make a little dash, and then just kind of, I could work my way around it. But to get those super crisp, clean lines, that sandpaper is
all right.
Yeah.
I will take it. I will totally take it. I dig it. Okay, what other tools are essential to you besides the compass and sandpaper? Is there anything else that you're like, I wish Rachel would let me bring more things to this island because I would also bring X, Y, and Z.
Well, the Tombow eraser that we got at the Burn Club retreat, that's truly amazing. But if I had sandpaper, I can always sand that off, right?
That's true.
And then the compass has the sharp edge, so I can always just
chip away with that. See? Don't even need a razor blade or anything.
And to be honest, like that's all I use. It's very, very minimal. I travel a lot. I go to, my parents live up north in Barrie, so they're an hour away. So when I would go there, I just pack my little box of just these 3 or 4
just
things.
The essentials. Yeah. Just what you're bringing to the island.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was an easy question.
I love it. Are there any on like the business side of things of the wood burning business? Are there any like apps or programs or things that you use that help with your workflow?
For wood burning and for business, there's 2. So I mean, I guess it's kind of the same thing, but I guess more the visual aspect of the business. I use Planoly. And you showed me that one because I used to go through Instagram and post each post, and which I still sometimes do because my brother helps me out. I post something on there. He's the only one following me. And he's just like, or this is wicked, or rotate that a little, or crop it, blah, blah, blah. He's went to design school, so he like can really give me
That's awesome. It's always nice having someone that you can run things by before you hit post.
I overthink everything, everything. So even something as simple as one image in the post, it's just so much easier when he can say yay or nay. And sometimes I'm confident and I'll be like, whatever, just get it out there. But it does help. But the Planoly app is amazing because if I have, let's just say 3 or 4 pictures that I want to post, I'm doing it on the fly now because it's because I don't have any extras. But at the beginning, when I had extra stuff to post, you can move things around. You can
make it look really pretty before you post it. See what it's going to look like in your feed before you put it there.
So you can kind of tell if you look down my feed. At one point, I was doing a kind of a checkered board with a white background and a brown, white, brown, white, brown, white, brown. And that's because of Planoly, because I could see what was coming up next and what I needed. I've went back to just like the browns and browns and browns. I want less white, but I'm still able to see the contrast between the different pictures side by side and on top of each other. It's huge. Planoly is...
It just really does help to get things visually looking nice on Instagram before you get them on there. Exactly. Okay, what's your other app that you use that you love?
The other one is the Google
Sheets?
No. Oh man.
Google. I'm like, what does it do?
It's called Google Keep.
Keep.
Yes. So I have my computer right in front of me, and basically it's... So, okay, I'm really old school and I still have a calendar that I write permanent things in. So if there's an actual event like the craft fair, then I write it in there because that's for sure happening. But in my Google Keep, there's just different, like it's kind of like a sticky note system. One of the sticky notes is shared with my husband. So if we're going grocery shopping or if I need to remember something, I just put it in there and then it shows up on his phone in the Google Keep. So it's nice that
it's like your to-do list, but like for you and your partner to check things off and move things around and adjust
exactly.
Cool.
And then certain hours that I do, reminders like wood burning. I often write out my posts before I post them because I'm terrible at writing, so I'll rewrite it like 20,000 times. And that helps me like it's just all in one spot, and then the hashtags I have that I sometimes copy and paste into that, and then Google Keep is huge, and then it's connected to my Gmail account, so I can set alarms and it'll just email me when it needs to be or just flash on my phone. And I highly recommend Google Keep. I love it.
Just kind of streamlines the whole process. Yeah,
exactly.
That's great. Okay. Anything else that you do to like stay organized besides Google Keep and things like that? Is there any other systems that you have in place to just kind of stay on top of all of the things that you need to get
done? For example, like all the pieces that are half finished. I feel like if it's in your face, then it's in your mind. So I have a spot in downstairs with all my like half finished pieces. That I know that I have to do eventually, and then the rest of the stuff is just away. So no clutter except for stuff that I have to do. That's otherwise Google Keep and
that you're actively working on. Yeah,
exactly.
But Google Keep is what you use to stay organized as far as your to-do lists and things that you need to get done and get checked off and all that stuff.
Exactly.
Cool. What I would love to know, because there are a bunch of people in Canada, and like your guys' wood sources are so different from the sources that we have available to us in the States. Where do you get your wood? Where do you get your supplies? Like where should people go who are in Canada? What do you prefer?
So there's 2 main places. For me personally, my husband is a general contractor. His family does custom kitchens, so all their offcuts I get. It's nice. If you're in the Mississauga area, you can dive in that dumpster with me. They have so much extra pieces of wood. It's just
for some reason I have such a hard time picturing you dumpster diving. I don't know why.
The hair goes up, you know.
So good. Proof that you actually do this, because it's too good. That's awesome, though. So you get some of your supplies from there, but where else? Where else do you find wood?
The two other places, Lee Valley is, of course, has lots of selection. They have wood from all over. They actually, most of their wood is walnut hollow, which is interesting. But they do have other pieces, and they also collect their own pieces. So they go around and whatever trees fall in, they cut it up and they share that with everybody.
So cool.
The other place is Exotic Woods. It's just a wood wonderland. Any wood that you want, it's coming from all over the world. It's
so cool.
I would highly recommend to check it out, even if you're just perusing. They have some pretty amazing stuff in there.
That sounds really nice. I'm like, I want to go on a field trip. That sounds like a great place to go.
Perfect field trip place.
Anybody down for a pyrography field trip?
And with a dumpster dive at the end.
Let's do it. That sounds so, like, way too much fun. Well, dumpster dive at the end. I love it. If
somebody's asking if it's in Mississauga. It's actually in Oakville, which is like neighboring Mississauga.
Okay. I'm like, I don't know, but I'll nod and pretend like I do. So you've been doing some live videos with Ali. I want to know a little bit more about this. Is this something that's going to be like a weekly thing?
I think so. It was random. I saw one of Ali's posts. She's like, "Does anyone want to burn live with me?" And I'm kind of I'm scared to try new things. So the more scared I am of trying something means that I have to try it, because you got to that's the only thing that makes
push
you grow.
yourself. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I hit reply, and once it's in writing, you can't really go back. So I'm like, I'm in.
That's awesome.
We were talking, and we're like, what should we draw? And she doesn't really do mandalas. She's done digital mandalas, but she's like, I've never wood burned any mandalas. And I know she's into anime. So I said, okay, let's do an anime mandala. And we did it on Monday. It didn't finish. We didn't finish it, of course. So we're like, next Monday. Her weekends are Sunday, Monday. So
right.
It just kind of naturally was like, you want to do it again? Okay. And
that's so awesome. I love it. It makes me so happy. Well, you both were at the wood burning retreat last year with me, and so I just love it when you guys all get together and do anything together and support each other. I just think it's the coolest thing ever. What parts of your business are the parts that you love, and what parts of your business are an absolute chore?
Of course, the burning part is what I love. A little bit, what gives me anxiety is trying to stay ahead and get new stuff out there. But recently, I've just come to terms with whatever. I'm just going to go with it, which has helped a lot.
You got to use that evergreen content. You got to just pull out the stuff from a year ago, from 2 years ago, from 5 years ago, and repost those. You guys, do it. Save yourself that time and that energy and that effort, and use those pictures, and it'll help.
And also, what I've learned from the retreat is so instead of I really love my even, perfectly centered. There's something about that. So it pushed me to. You were saying that take 3 or 4 photos of that moment.
Every single finished piece. Yeah.
So then in a couple months, you can repost it in a different angle, which gives you a different perspective, and people might not even know it's the same piece. So that was huge. That was huge. And
and the process too. You can take process shots too, and post in process shots, and finished and shots outside, and up close shots, and change it up, because what Instagram wants is more content all the time, and keeping up with that is a headache. And so if you can save yourself some of that time and energy, do it all at once. Batch work that stuff. It helps big time.
It really does.
This person said the live videos are great. They get to see they got to see you work on the folk art piece. So that's cool.
So the cool part about the videos is, yes, we're burning, and you can see the actual how slow it is. But we're also talking, and I brought my, the leftover gold leaf that I bought years ago and that I want to try, and she brings out her pieces and I bring out my pieces. So
it's so fun. You can learn a bunch. You can ask questions. You can interact with them. really, really great that you're doing that. And you've been helping with these live interviews and recording them for me, which I am so grateful for. So thank you so much for helping me get them all on YouTube, because that way people can view them forever and get all this information for forever, which it's invaluable. So thank you for helping me. I really appreciate it. Too kind. Any advice for any newbie wood burning artists that are just starting out? Anything that you want to tell them or encourage them with?
Going back to your previous question, the chore part. Yes. I didn't answer that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Pricing.
Oh, pricing can be a chore.
I don't like writing and describing and I don't like that part, but sometimes just saying like a sentence, what it is good enough, so I can get away with it. But pricing is just so, it really forces you to step back and judge your work and to put your face on to what other people think, not what you think. So it's, for me, that's probably the worst and most anxiety.
You're not alone. And look, everybody's like, same, yes, yeah.
It's hard.
You're not alone. Pricing work is, what it is you're taking a piece of your soul and putting a price tag on it, right? Which is really, really hard to do, and really hard to do in a way where it's not biased, because you're biased. So I'm working on something right now for everybody, and I'm hoping to have it done by today or tomorrow. So stay tuned about pricing, and hopefully it will help everybody. It's going to be free, and it will help everybody to figure out pricing a lot easier and all of that. So just stay tuned, and hopefully I'll be able to help with the pricing
right in time for the market.
Yeah, for real, right?
Yeah.
That was kind of my hope, is that it would help some of the people that are maybe struggling with that part of it, because I know that, one, it's super scary putting your work out there and putting a price on it like this. But safety in numbers, guys. We're all doing this together. Everybody's going to be posting all at once. So let's just do it. What do you have to lose? People don't buy those pieces. Can you live with that? If you can, then great, put it out there. Because what's the best case scenario? You sell that piece and you have that money, and that person has a beautiful piece of art in their home.
And you learn a lot about the whole entire process, from posting pictures, taking pictures, to shipping and all that.
Oh yeah. And you can learn from all of the other people that are doing the same. Tomorrow, Friday, is going to be it's going to be really cool. The 1st through the 3rd, this Burn Club Craft Fair is going to be so much fun to be able to really see what everybody in the community is putting out there, and to be able to buy pieces. And I'm so excited to shop. I'm so excited to shop. I've got some empty wall spaces that need some filling, I like supporting small businesses. Let's do those things. I'm pumped for it, and I'm glad that you're going to have some pieces up. I think it's going to be awesome. So any advice for newbies that you want to share?
Yeah, don't ever give up. Just do it over and over and over again, whether it's drawing and then doing it on the wood. Just keep on doing it, because practice makes perfect.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, and especially with something like this, the more you practice with that particular tool, with that particular nib, with that type of wood, the better you'll be at that, at all of those things. So just keep pushing at it. I totally agree. And I think that's a great piece of advice for people that are starting out, because there's a lot of people that want to pick up this hobby. It's a good one to have.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's unique. It's really, it's good for gifts. You can customize almost anything. I really want to, another goal a little bit is to do, I'm a musical person. Not that I play really anything, but I used to play stuff, but not anymore. It's more just music is atmosphere, and it creates your life. And usually musicians are really cool, and working with them. So if I could burn any instruments, that would be really cool.
Like guitars and some violins and any of those wooden, I want to see that. I want to see some of your mandalas on there.
I think that would be
a great thing.
Yeah.
Great. I'm who's got a guitar that needs some customization? Huh? That's great. Anything else that you want to share, talk about, show us? Does anybody have any questions for Basia that they want to ask her? Now's your chance. But you also can, after this, I'm going to have a little questionnaire, a little question box that you can add any other questions that you have for her that we missed. And then stay tuned for the blog post that will go up where you'll get to see the bus in all of its glory. I'm so excited for that. And some other questions and information that wasn't in this video, but lots of good information that was too. So it'll be a great spot that you can find all of that and all of her links to her website and to her Instagram and all of that good stuff. And then this video will be up on YouTube soon as well, so you'll be able to see it there. Anything else, Basia, that you wanted to share or show us? We have like 8 more minutes before we get cut off.
As I said in the beginning, community and those people around you pushing you and driving you to do things that maybe you didn't think about or didn't know before. Join the club. The Burn Club is huge, with a wealth of information, with people I've never met any other community who just works together all the time and just,
it's the coolest,
always offering information, and it's really more about creating rather than I'm better than you kind of thing, which is massive. Like, that's what art should be.
It's really our community it shows what the power of community over competition looks like, because when we all started working together and coming together and lifting and supporting each other, all of our voices became louder. And now people are finding pyrography machines in Sam's Club. You can buy a pyro machine in Sam's Club. What? It's becoming that mainstream, right? And we're getting book deals. Woodburning artists are getting book deals and things, like, it's crazy. So, like, it's just really cool to see what happens when we can come together as a community. So agreed. Join Burn Club if you haven't yet. And I'm working really, really hard behind the scenes to make Burn Club even better. I'm really trying to create a space for everybody to find all the information they need right when they need it, and community right when they need it. So stay tuned. I'm working really hard on it, and I'm really excited for it. So thank you. You're just the best. I just think you're such a ray of sunshine. Oh, I think someone asked a question. They were asking what finish you use. Yes. Do you finish your pieces in anything?
No. And so if it's I made a few cutting boards. Those I definitely finish just for longevity. You're using them all the time. But I don't often make pieces that are actually like functional that way. They're just decorative. I love the pop that you get with that oil, but I just leave it. I have recently got into...
Jack? Sorry, my dog he's getting excited about something. What's up, buddy?
Oh. I've recently started doing, I did a couple of resin pieces, and only because like I was commissioned to do an outdoor sign, so I wanted to really cover it strongly with resin. And I did a few pieces because I had resin left over, but I tried not to do that because I want all my pieces to be fully sustainable. I want it from earth to earth, cradle to cradle, it's called, and even going to the backs of the pieces, like there's no metal, there's no this literally, like, I do want my art to be up and be around forever, but I also don't want it to be around forever.
I hear you. Yeah.
Right?
No, it's fantastic. It's great that you do this, I think it's fantastic. It's beautiful too. Your work is so beautiful.
Thank you.
So beautiful.
Actually, your piece reminded me that I didn't sign. I haven't been signing.
You didn't sign mine. I know.
Signing it makes it feel...
I think I remember at the retreat when I got it from you being like, you need to sign this, and then somehow you left without signing it.
It just feels so, I don't know, just so formal. I although if I had a branding machine, I could just stamp it in the back, fine. But
you just need to sign it because it's your art, and if something were to happen to me, no one would necessarily know.
True. I have to get over that.
You gotta get over that.
Yeah.
Gotta sign it. Sign your art. It's beautiful. How do you make the hanging holes in the back?
We, so my husband with the whole kitchen business and carpentry and woodworking, he has a specific machine to do that.
That it does specifically that, like that's what it's made for.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, we'll have to ask him what it's actually called so that we all know.
Yeah. Keyhole drill, keyhole press.
That sounds right.
Yeah. The actual part is called a keyhole hook. So because of what it is it's shaped like a key, I guess, and then it just kind of it catches when it's in there. So I'm assuming it's called a keyhole drill or a keyhole press.
Okay, something like that. We'll get the exact term if we need to. Cool. Thank you so much for doing this with me, Basia. You're such a joy. I love your art. Everybody, please go give Basia a follow over at Fineline Pyro and go check out her website. It's so beautiful, and you'll have pieces that are up for sale available on Friday the 1st through the 3rd. So make sure you go and shop that. Anything else, guys? This was so much fun. Basia, thank you so much for doing this with me.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for making this whole interview thing possible. It would not be happening if it couldn't get recorded and up to YouTube. And so I'm so appreciative for you. So for doing that. So thank you. All right, guys, we will see you later. Next week, I've got CG Designs, Chelsea of CG Designs, coming on for the interview. So be on the lookout for that. And we'll see you guys on Instagram, yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Basia.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hi, Basia. How are you?
Good.